Right, I'm live.
There we go. I think I'm live as well. Boys, can you see me? I hope you liked our new gorilla. Well done, James, for putting
180 people watching on my end.
putting gorilla on there. Let me check how many we got our end. Oh yeah, 3,500. So many. Let's have a look. Awesome. Yeah, we're on. All right. Welcome, Mr. Waffles.
Hello. I just want to give a little introduction to my audience as well, because obviously we're doing a stream on both of our sites. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is the CEO of Testosterone, also known as Jack, or Mr. Test. He's also been asked. He's also asked me to call him. Who, just to give a little bit of background of what I've seen as an outsider, just like anyone else who's watching the stream at the moment. I think you're a rising star of the red pill community. Like, you've only just started your channel about 2, 3, 4 months ago, and you've already risen the ranks quite quickly. You've got 50,000 subscribers or something around that level last time I checked. You've done a couple cold approach videos with Hamza. Both of you were going at it, and you've just been making content all around sort of self-improvements. There's some gym stuff, there's a lot of dating stuff, first dates, things like that. I've had a little browse of your stuff. I probably watched about 5 to 10 of your videos so far, so I have a little bit of understanding where you're coming from. So do you think what I've just summarised you as there is a worthy introduction?
Mate, I think that's totally fair enough. How did you find the channel? What are you currently thinking about CEO of Testosterone?
Well, I saw you on what was it, The First Man? That's the first time I saw your face. I saw you on some First Man video. Yeah, and then I had a quick look at your content, from there. And then Hamza was the one who actually suggested for us to have a debate together. And when you actually proposed that to me. He suggested it to you, and then you proposed it to me. And I was a little bit intrigued at that point, because most people, when they ask for a collaboration, a live stream of some sort, they say a discussion. But you came with the big D word, the stronger D word, debate. So I'm hoping, or at least guessing, you've got some outlandish claims or sort of things that you want to contest with me in this stream. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy to defend any positions that I've said in my videos that you have contentions with.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think for me, first of all, I want to understand you to make sure I'm not making any outlandish claims, and I'll give you my opinion of you and what I've currently seen, and also ask you a few questions to understand what your actual views are. So to anyone on my channel that doesn't know, from what I've seen, Wheat Waffles is like a male self-development channel that's not fully, but more tailored towards something called Black Pill, which, as far as I know, is to do with a man's looks as the maximum, the best thing he can focus on, or the thing that decides the most for him. Is that about right? Is that what Black Pill is, Mr. Waffles?
It stands for 3 things, in my opinion. So number 1 is that women only date up. Number 2 is the importance of looks, and number 3 is that your looks are mainly genetic. So that's the simplest way of describing the Black Pill, in my opinion. If you don't believe in those 3 things, and all of those 3 things, then you're not Black Pilled, you are something else.
Okay.
And I did have a little scroll through your content. I watched one video in particular, which I hope we'll get to, because I did have a disagreement with you on it. It was any man can go from a 3 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10, and I actually used that in the thumbnail of this video.
I saw that
in the future, but I'll let you respond to what I said originally.
100%, and I think that's good to know what Black Pill is. What would you say Red Pill is? Because I don't know too much about the pills. I'm fairly new to all the pills. I've just been saying sort of my life experiences. What is Red Pill as far as you see it? Why would I be sort of a Red Pill YouTuber? Just to explain to me.
Yeah, I do want to apologise for calling you a Red Pill rising star at the start, because if you don't actually subscribe to that, then that's fair enough. But I guess most people, on watching your content, the things that you preach, you might not know it yet, but you are, basically teaching Red Pill ideas.
Okay.
It's the, whole sort of it's a very broad thing. It's broader than Black Pill, in my opinion.
Okay.
And there actually is quite a lot of disagreements within the Red Pill community in itself. But there's three main sort of red pill like ideologies, in my opinion. There's ones that mainly focus on just game. Like these are like the pickup artists, dating coaches, and they reject the first pillar that I said about women dating up. They think that a guy, if he's only like a 5 out of 10 across the board, he can get a 8 out of 10 if he's got very good game. Through doing something like cold approach or like using his online dating profile correctly. So that's like the first group. I don't think you're really that much, although you do take some elements of that. Like that's kind of the thing about the red pill. Is I mentioned that there's 3 sort of belief systems within the red pill, but like you can take tenets from all 3. And I myself, like I agree with some of the tenets of each of these ideologies. Like of course, I think that game does have at least some sort of a place in dating. Like how much? Not a huge amount, nowhere near as much as the pickup artist would say, but of course it still is, maybe 5, 10, 15% of the equation. As for the second group, you've got the like status red pillars, and these are the guys who think that it's mainly about like building your career, your finances, like climbing the ranks, the corporate ladder, everything like that. And then the final group, which I think that you probably fall into the most, is the like looks red pillars, and that's their main tenets is like focusing on the gym, like your fashion sense and like grooming, male like hygiene, things like that. And based on just having a quick scroll through your channel, I think that you teach a lot of things related to that. Like you might believe a couple of things from the other 2 systems. You might like share beliefs about all of them. I think that's actually true because you have given a lot of advice like to do with game and first date advice, things like that on your channel as well. But like mainly when I look at your channel, I'm seeing a lot of this is how to look good, this is looks maxing, this is how you can increase your physique and increase your testosterone, which I'm guessing is going to improve your looks from there.
So would you say in the like black pill community, or what you think, Mr. Waffles, do you think that looks is the most important thing for a man on his success with women? That's what I wanted to find out from you before we start debating. 100%.
You don't even need to answer that. Ask that question to me. You said 100%. It's not. I'm 100%.
The most important. The most important.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to make that quick distinction. I 100% believe that looks is the most important, but I don't believe looks is 100%. Like there's a very subtle difference there, which is quite significant. Like I'd probably say looks is 60, 70, possibly even 80 or 90% if we're talking about something like online dating, of course. But I don't believe it's 100%, but I 100% believe that it is the most important.
Okay.
Well, do you think the same?
I don't.
Do you think that looks is the most important?
I don't know. I wrote down what I thought my split was this. So let me just find it. So I'd say looks is 25%, status, money and status is 30%, and personality and confidence is 45%. That was my lineup.
Wow.
Yeah, so massively different.
We're in for a brawl here today.
100%. So just tell me why do you think that looks is the most important thing for a guy to have with his success with women?
I actually made a video about this. It was why looks is becoming more and more important. And I can't remember how many reasons I had in it. If I just bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
I could, it was made quite a while ago. Was it? The first one, well, obviously, one of them was online dating. Like, that goes without saying. Wait, let me find it quickly, just to make sure that I'm on the right track. No, it was sooner than that.
Yeah, I've got to really definitely have a couple of interesting points when after you've spoken about why you think it's the most important, because there's huge things I don't agree with about that, so I look forward to it.
Well, why don't you make your case first, and then while I look for this video, because I do want to be very concise with what I'm saying, but if you want to make your case first for why you think that looks isn't the most important, or why you think, what is it? You said personality was 40, 45%?
Personality, charisma, confidence, whatever you want to call it, I think it's 45%. And I had a few questions for you to try and decode why you think looks is the most important. And I wanted to ask you if you've ever had a friend, whether it be at university, in school that seemed to do well with women that was not attractive? On any situation, a guy that could always kind of just pull, even though he wasn't very attractive and he didn't seem to have much going for him.
No, I wouldn't say that's the case. It's, in fact, the only times I would say that has happened is when I thought a guy was unattractive. I thought that a guy wasn't good looking, and I was like, how on earth is he getting the girls?
Yeah.
But then later I realised, after I discovered the black pill and I learned a bit more about looks theory and what actually makes a man attractive, is that there's a big difference between the male and female gaze. So the best example, and the guys that I thought shouldn't have been getting the girls, which were the so-called pretty boys or e-boys, the guys with a lot of feminine features. They're not particularly big, they're quite skinny, but they're quite tall at the same time, and they have a defined jawline, and luscious hair, things like that. And I mainly experienced that in school. But the reason why I thought that they shouldn't get the girls is because men look at other men with the male gaze. They see oh, he's just a skinny guy, he shouldn't be getting girls because he's just skinny. I could probably beat him up, I could push him over like a piece of cardboard, so it'll be easy for me to out-compete him. But obviously these guys were still getting the girls, and it was only later when I realised, and I learned a bit about looks theory, it's actually, these guys actually were really attractive, but I didn't realise that. The girls did find them really good looking, but I didn't realise that.
Okay, I'll follow you on that one. Would you say that money and status overpower looks at a certain level?
It depends what stage in life you're talking. And wait, did you say money and status overpowers looks?
Yeah, at a certain level.
Well, I've got two sort of points to make on that. Number one, it depends on what stage of life, and number two, it depends on how much money and status and looks we're talking. If you put I don't know, let's
go. I've got one lined up already. Mark Zuckerberg, absolute nerd, doesn't look great at all.
Yeah.
Could probably get any chick. Could probably get any chick.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a lot of, especially money. I don't know about status, as in, of course, there's a lot of status that comes with being a CEO, but I wouldn't say that's as much status as, say, a movie star or a male singer. People aren't exactly, in terms of Instagram subscribers, I'm guessing he's only got a million or a few million, which is nowhere near the likes of, say, Justin Bieber, who's got hundreds of millions. Obviously, a million Instagram followers is still top 1% status, but he's not. I would say he's mainly money, not status, if you know what I mean. As in, he's always going to top Forbes' rich list. He's going to be in the top 10 for them. But in terms of top celebrities, I don't know if he'd even be in the top 100 for that. That's going to be dominated by movie stars, actors, singers who, yes, do have a sizable amount of money too, but they mainly shine in terms of status. They're the main people in the public eye.
Do you think that somebody who is attractive would beat Mark Zuckerberg for a woman's hand in marriage, for example? So let's say you got some kid, he's at uni, or he's 25, 26 years old, he's working a job, he makes, I don't know, not a lot of money, makes 20 grand a year. And then you've got Zuckerberg that's coming gunning for the same girl. Does that attractive guy even stand a chance in any realm?
Does the unattractive guy with status and money stand a chance?
No, does the unattractive guy, does the attractive guy even stand a chance against Zuckerberg, even though he's ugly and he's attractive?
It depends what sort of context that we're talking, because if we're talking just about, these guys were in a club, the really attractive guy, the most attractive guy there is going to be able to get women anyway. And yeah, some people might be looking at Mark Zuckerberg in that environment and thinking, wow, he's the richest guy on earth. But are women going to be throwing themselves at him? I'm not too sure.
Or is it usually the guy with the biggest status and the biggest table at the club that has the girls on it, not the handsome guy who's at uni who's walking through the crowds? I mean, he doesn't even get looked at by half the girls because they know he doesn't have anything in his pocket, no dough, no status. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's slightly changing the point that we was discussing a little bit. But I saw where you was going with this originally, but the thing I want to say is that, yes, money and status still does have its place in the dating market. you know, if somebody's top 1%, or actually I wouldn't even say top 1%, because top 1% of money is only like 200,000 or 300,000 a year, and you know, you're hardly going to be making the rankings for anything with that amount of money. But the main way that that can help you is that it can open doors in other aspects. You can be financially independent, you can like translate that money into status by hosting big parties, by looks maxing, and so on and so forth. But the main thing that I have with like money and status is that people underestimate just how much money and status you need in order to translate that into dating success with women directly. Like, there's a lot of women nowadays, especially the highest value ones, that if you don't have a blue check mark, then you're not even like seen in their DMs. So they won't even look at you. And you might, you know, if you've got 20, 30, 40,000 Instagram followers, like you're probably in the top 10% of Instagram. That's clearly a lot of status. But if you've not got a blue check mark, then how would you even get seen?
But isn't the blue check mark, isn't that just status? That's not looks,
yeah,
that's
blue
just status.
Check mark is status, but like that's, you know, so far out of reach for most people. As in, when you look at the, you know, everyday people who are getting the girls, like, you know, for average Joes, it is the guys who, like, it is looks mainly separating them, if you know what I mean. I'm saying it's not status that is separating the average people.
One sec, Sam. I just think we're struggling to hear you on our side of the stream. I'm just getting James to try and sort it out. I've just had a few comments in a row just saying that we can't hear you very well. Where's the mouse? There we go. Just give us 1 sec, guys. We're just going to have a look into that. James, what's up with it? What's that? No, it's all right. We're all good. Yeah. What's up with it? What are people saying?
I don't know. It's like you're almost kind of hearing it through this over here rather than the actual system.
Okay.
I haven't got a look online.
Anything going on your end, Sam?
Let me just check. Everybody's still saying that well, I'm just waiting for the chat to catch up.
Okay.
If anyone's watching this right now and the stream is going good, just type in the chat that the stream is fine.
Yeah, let us know what's going on and whether you can see us and hear us would be appreciated.
Sounds alright, he's just a bit quiet. Audio capture.
I've got one. I've got something quite interesting we could do right now, just whilst audio's a bit trash, but they can still see us. Sam, I have a picture of me when I was at university, and I just want you to rate me out of 10, and just let me know like what you think of me when I was at university. Whether you think I was, whether I wasn't, like what you think of my face.
Well, obviously it's a very poorly taken picture.
I look like this most of the time,
you know,
I'll be honest with you.
You look like you're very drunk in that photo. So just based on the photo alone, you know, you're about 4.5. But yeah. I'm afraid to say I might have beat you to the race on this one, because I actually had a look at your Instagram and I scrolled like pretty much very to the bottom. And this was, I prepared this.
He's a stalker.
Because I saw your video, how to go from a 3 to an 8 out of 10. Yeah. And it was interesting because at the very start, you use yourself as an example. And I think you might have even used that exact photo to say, look, this is what a 3 out of 10 guy looks like. And now look at me, I'm an 8 out of 10. But I found this photo. I'm not sure if you'd be able to see it on the screen. But it was the one which... Yeah,
I can't see it. I can't see it now.
It's from 2014. If you got the stream on your phone, because I know you were showing me that earlier, it was like a passport photo or something like that. It was
2014. Yeah. I know the photo.
That was like what? That's 8 years ago now. So I think you said you're 23 years old now.
Yeah, 23.
And, so if you do the maths on that, 23 minus 8, you were 15 probably then, depending on when your birthday is. And in that photo, you're clearly, you know, not a below average looking guy. Like at the very least, you're definitely not a 5. You're a 6 in that photo. You were clearly like above average looking, even when you was younger. Like, you know, you're 15 years old in that photo. Like I looked way worse when I was 17 years old. So you went from, you know, if you were a 6 back then, and now you're like probably about a 7 now. Like, I'm just looking at the comments, and they're all in agreement with me on my video. They're saying, yeah, you were a 6.5 then, you were a 6, and now you're a 7.5. So you went up. So this is what I'm getting at with this. The major thing that a lot of red pillars get wrong is that they underestimate like how much they had to begin with, and they think that they went from a 3 to an 8 when realistically they're going from a like 6 to a 7, or a 5 to a 7, or a 5 to a 6.
Yeah, just to clarify, I never would have said that I was a 3 out of 10 at any point. That's more like a thumbnail, and I do think other guys can go from a 3 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. I genuinely believe that. That's why that's why I titled it that way. It's obviously misleading with the thumbnail. Like, this is what I look like before, this is what I look like now. I just wanted to show an improvement in looks, that these things can be improved. And for me, I've been on the self-improvement. Maybe you look worse than me at that age. I'd already been working out every day. I'd already started boxing. I'd already read these books. I've been working on myself for a lot longer than I've been on YouTube. I've been working on myself since I was 12, 13 years old. So whether or not like it is actually a looks-based thing is to be discussed, I suppose, because I think it really comes down to how much effort you put in as a guy.
Well, I think the point that I was alluding to is that you always had it, like, from the start. Like, obviously you have made improvements from where you came.
Yeah.
And, you've increased your SMV from roughly a 6 to a 7.5, possibly even 8 now. That is true. However, like, you did have a good starting point to begin with. Like, seriously going from a 3 to an 8, assuming that the person is not obese, I'm just going to say it's impossible. Like, unless there's some sort of surgical enhancements going on there. But a genuine 3, like a literal 3 out of 10, somebody say with a recessed jaw, who's like got a terrible eye area, prey eyes, really close set eyes, eye bags, an upturned nose, just think of a face that's genuinely like got a lot of defects. That guy is never going to make it to an 8. In fact, he's not going to make it to a 6, let alone a 4 or a 5.
But why?
Or 7 or 8, or sorry.
This is what I think, and I think when I say any guy can go out from a 3 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10, I think it's true, because a man is not, in my eyes, fully based on his looks. So a man can improve his looks. Why can a guy who's got a recessed jaw, some fucked up eyes or whatever you said, why can he not be ripped and in great shape? Just tell me why.
He can. I'm going to see if I can share my screen, because I think that this epitomizes... yeah, I can share my screen. All right. Here is it.
Sam, I just seen that comment.
What comment?
But not, it was Sam Harbonator. He said, I can see the gears grinding in Jack's head. Something's going on. And it's when I think, I telegraph a lot of things on my face.
Right. Can you see the graph that's on my screen at the moment?
I can't see any graphs, no.
Okay. Is your phone available?
Let me just have a look at my phone. I'm going to get up your stream on my phone.
Yeah. Get up my stream, because then you'll be able to see it. Because this like, puts into test what I'm saying pretty much perfectly. This is my own experiment. This is my own data that I've collected. So everyone who's watching on my end, you've probably already seen this chart shown before. This chart was shown in one of my most popular videos. It's got like over 500,000 views or something now.
Okay, I'm seeing this.
And it was all of the data that I collected from
anyone seeing this?
Can you see it now?
I'm just checking if my guys on stream can see the graph. Just put in the chat if you can see the graph, boys. Let's have a look. Can you see the graph, James?
Can they see it?
I'm having a look. It's still catching up. No one's seeing the graph. Okay, so guys, this is the graph.
Well,
this is the graph.
Oh, you can show it. You can just show it on your thing, can't you?
For anyone who hasn't seen, this is the graph.
Okay. So now I'm going to explain it. So the two lines there is the averages that I've collected from my own face rating service of guys over 1,000 guys, so the sample size is quite big, and it's divided by their body type. So there was guys with an average physique, you know. In fact, I'll bring up what it shows like with a guy with average physique. So can you see what's on the screen now?
I'm still on your stream, but I think it's lagging
it will catch up in a second.
Catch up.
So if for the new image that comes onto your screen,
yeah,
you're going to see like 3 different physiques. So at the top left, you've got a guy who I would describe as jacked. Like he's,
here we go.
10% body fat or so.
Yeah.
Large muscles. He's clearly like gone to the gym consistently. And then the guy in the middle is what I class as an average physique. Like this is, your 15 to 22% body fat range. Some muscle, but not a huge amount, and just average. Like most guys, like I calculated that 600 out of the 1,000 guys had this body type. And then the final one, obviously, is somebody who's obese. And there was about 150 of my audience members had that body type. But then 150 were jacked as well. So there was the same amount on either side. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to, I'll go back to the graph, because this is what I actually want to talk about. So the guys who were jacked, clearly, compared to the average guys, their scores were higher. They were slightly higher. Like there were, if you look at the chart, 30% of guys who were jacked were 6s, were above average. Like the hump is clearly above a 5.
Yeah.
Most guys who are jacked are above a 5.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, average guys, they are, most of them, obviously average. Most of them are a 5. There's some 4s and there's some 6s. And there's some 7s and even a couple of 8s. They're just lucky. They're lucky that they, have naturally good facial genetics. Despite having an average body, they're still highly attractive. But the main point is that look at the red zone that I've highlighted.
Okay.
That 14%.
Yes.
That 14% is all jacked guys who still scored below a 5. So this proves, based on if it proves based on the fact that if my rating skills are accurate, and I'm not just lying or making up this data, that some guys can get jacked, a lot of guys will get jacked, and it can improve their score quite a lot. In fact, for all guys, it will improve their score. A 3 who's jacked is going to be better than a 3 who's not jacked. However, 14% of jacked guys still end up in that dreaded sub-5 category, because their genetic factors, such as their face, are pulling them behind. And for those, in my opinion, their body is no makeup for their other genetic flaws.
Okay, I understand you on that. I understand you. I think.
Yeah. So just to make sure I'm 100% clear, is in I'm all for going for the gym. Yeah. Going for the gym will improve your score.
Yeah.
But it might not improve your score enough, because if you're a 3.5 and you go up to a 4 through going to the gym, you've not really improved your situation. And obviously, you yourself kind of follow this chart, because in the picture I showed earlier, when you was younger, you wasn't jacked. You was just a regular skinny dude with an average build. You was around a 6, a 6.5. And then since you went to the gym, you've, since increased your SMV to a 7.5, possibly even 8. So you've been able to get a 1 to 2 point advantage through going to the gym, which, lines up in my chart. You can see the distance between the 2 humps is roughly 1 to 2 points. However, it's not going to be the be all and end all. And if your face is still bad, then, going to the gym, it's going to help you, but it's not going to save you.
In my opinion, I would say that it doesn't really matter once you're jacked and you're working towards good things in your life, when you have that charisma, when you've achieved things as a man. Why does it matter if somebody rates you a 4 or 5 when you're jacked and you're doing everything you can? Like, in my eyes, and I think in most women's eyes, when they give you a chance other than just straight looking at your face, which is way more of relationships than just looking at someone, it doesn't matter anymore if you're doing everything for you. That's why we can have disabled people that go on to do amazing things, that become Olympians and then become absolute idols and icons among women when they look at them. I don't think it's I think focusing so much on looks as the be all and end all is nonsense, because for a 3 out of 10, that guy sitting there watching your channel, he's then thinking, well, what can I do for myself? he gets to sit there and just think, oh, I get off scot-free because I've been given a bad hand. Like, I don't agree with that way of thinking. Any man can make his life how he wants it to be. And if you don't feel that way, look at some of the incredible people that have come from complete adversity. What do you think about that?
No. So I think you're shifting my point a little bit here. I want to repeat, I'm all for going to the gym. And, if you are that 3 out of 10 guy, there is absolutely no reason why you should go to the gym and get in shape. Besides just stating, it's going to have a lot of other benefits for you. It's going to improve your mental health, your physical health. Obviously, that's probably the main purpose of going to the gym. It's going to increase your life expectancy. You're going to get more respect. You're going to have increased chance of getting job interviews and passing those interviews. It's going to have a lot of benefits besides just dating. So every single person should be going to the gym. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, I think 15% of guys who follow my channel, who are included in this data, are jacked, which is way above the average if you look at the wider population. I don't know the exact figures, but just walking down the street, nowhere near 15% of guys are jacked. It's probably like 2 or 3%. Like, do you know the exact numbers? There's not that many jacked guys out there, but 15% of people who watch my channel or bought this face rating are jacked. Like, I'm all for going to the gym. You can improve in other areas of life, but the main point that I want to drill home is that the data that I'm presenting in my videos isn't pessimism or nihilism. It's indicating realism. It's realizing, yes, gym can improve, but it's not going to be the be all and end all and take me from a 3 to an 8. That is, the comment that you made in your video, that you can go from a 3 to an 8.
100%.
But I don't believe that that's true through going to the gym or doing any of the other looks maxing techniques that you mentioned.
It's not through just going to the gym. Like, there's other things.
Yeah, of course, but that is, I think we can both agree that's the main one. As in, gym is easily 50% of looks maxing, in my opinion, or at least like your body fat percentage and your muscle mass. Like, all of the other stuff, like hair, your grooming, your beard, that's in the other half. Like, the main thing is gym. That's the only thing that can bump up by 1 to 2 points. Like, all of the other things combined, such as hair, skincare, beard, grooming, clothes, fashion, whatever, that's going to be like the extra like cream on top. If you know what I mean. I still think it's the main thing.
I still think it's kind of just absolute nonsense though. Like, the whole rating scale, like rating yourself that way. Let's look at someone like Pete Davidson, who's typically not that attractive to a lot of people, not in great shape, who has status, who has a great charisma, personality, is funny, who is to a lot of women a 10 out of 10 and has banged some of the hottest women in the world. Like, how can he go and do that? That's like, looks isn't everything. That's all I'm saying, is it's definitely not everything. You can absolutely beat looks with other things, and you can improve your own looks. I don't think there's any need to put yourself in a box. If you're a 3 out of 10, I definitely think you can be an 8 out of 10. It's just like, you can do other things in your life if you want to try. And I just wanted to ask you...
So when you say 8 out of 10, are you talking about an 8 out of 10 across the board, or an 8 out of 10 in terms of looks?
I'd actually say an 8 out of 10 in terms of looks, because someone like Pete Davidson, although he's not like that attractive typically, when he is now considered probably over an 8 out of 10 by a lot of women because of his other like qualities. And that then adds to his looks. Like, if a guy's rich, he turns up in a Ferrari and he's jacked, but his face is a little bit off. Like, that guy's going to look way more attractive to you than a guy that pulls up next to you in some beat up car, covered in like crap and stuff. He's jacked still, but he doesn't like, attraction is like a mental thing. It's not all about like just the way you look. Like, you can think someone looks better because of their status.
I've just had to look up this guy, Pete Davidson. He's the guy dating Ariana Grande, I believe.
He did a while ago, then Kim Kardashian just recently.
And how attractive would you say he was before? I haven't got any before pictures, but I don't know what he looked like.
I'll get up some before.
Like before.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at him now, the photos, the first ones that come up on Google, and the first thing that I saw was his jawline. And then the second thing that I saw was his eye area, which is subpart. But his jawline is definitely like way above average. Like, he's got a very well-defined jawline, long ramus, straight mandible, equal facial thirds. Like, his jawline is easily a 7, but his eyes are letting him down. But across the board, he falls somewhere in that, like, between 6.5 and 7.5 out of 10 range. He's probably takes average averages around a 7.
Okay,
But he's not a bad looking guy.
but to a lot of women, he's now a 10 out of 10. He was voted hottest guy in the world.
He's not a 10 out of 10. There's a million male
But-
models
but-
that are
but-
better looking than him. But
How can you decide that? Because you don't judge the marketplace of men. Women do.
well, yes, that is true. But these articles that you're bringing up saying that he's the most attractive guy in the world, this isn't any empirical data, and there's no otherwise why is this guy Pete Davidson not a male model? Why does he have a career?
He is a male model.
Is he a male model?
He's male modelled in Vogue. Pete Davidson's huge. He's all over everywhere, and a lot of that came. His uprising came from his comedy.
Wikipedia that he's an American comedian and actor. I don't think he built his career from being a male model.
No, absolutely
it just
not.
Wouldn't happen because
he was
Sorry?
he was a comedian first, but he is now in vogue. He's now considered the most attractive man on the planet, and that comes from charisma, his ability to be funny and charm people, and that is not looks based.
Well, when I'm talking about attractiveness, I'm not talking about across the board. I'm talking about mainly just looks. This guy is nowhere near good looking enough to be a male model and to have built a career being solely off being a male model. That's just not going to happen.
Then why is he? Why do girls
then,
say he's a 10 out of 10? Why is he with Kim Kardashian?
Well, obviously, it's not Kim Kardashian. It's Ariana Grande, I thought, isn't it?
He's with Kim Kardashian now. That was old. Ariana Grande, Kim Kardashian. I think they've broken up now due to something with Kanye. But yeah, he's dated some top girls, some hot hitters.
I can explain exactly why. It's because he's got a lot of status. Obviously, he's quite wealthy. His face is above average. He's not an ugly guy. He's clearly quite tall. I don't know how tall he is, but just the way that he looks like he's towering over people in some of these photos. He's above average height. I'm guessing he's about 6 foot at the lowest. So he ticks all of those boxes, doesn't he?
I feel like this is getting slightly boring. Just this chat and about this kind of stuff. So just a little interlude. A question I wanted to ask you is what's the kind of aim behind your channel? Why did you start the channel? What is it about for men? What do you want to show men? Because I know for myself what I want to do. I want to understand that from you.
What is the goal of my channel?
Yeah, why did you make it in the first place? What led you to making a channel? You've got a lot of people watching you.
I want to expose the truth. I want to give guys the most realistic outlook possible when it comes to, dating and the reasons that they're struggling in dating. I'll repeat once more. I'm all for guys going to the gym, building wealth, building status, doing everything they can to improve their dating life. In fact, I actually have a video on my channel titled "What Should You Do in Your Dating Life?" And in this video, I break down a step-by-step flowchart guide based on your position in life. So, if you're a normie, average looks guy, you should do these steps. If you're a Chad, you should do these steps. And if you're a sub-5, you should do these steps. And there's not a single point does it say you should give up, you should not date, this is the end of the road for you. There's no point. At no point does it say that. There's a solution for every single person, and all of those solutions are optimized. So if you're a normie and if you follow the steps, you're going to reach a final destination which optimizes your dating life. It's going to teach you this is how you can get the most bang for your buck, say, in your dating life. And same goes for if you're a Chad or if you're a sub-5. That is the ultimate goal. And I want to expose the truth about what dating is like in the modern day, and how guys can use that information to their advantage.
So would you say what's your experience been personally like dating girls? I saw the video you'd had 5 girlfriends or 5 girls that you dated.
Yeah. Not all of them were girlfriends.
Okay, what's your kind of experience with dating like? Because it sounds like you rate yourself lower than certainly what I would rate you off of looks like. I think you're sort of like a Freddie Flintoff kind of character. You could, in my opinion, I don't know how tall you are, but with the gym, with sorting a few things out, you're genuinely quite a handsome guy, I thought. So I'm just trying to wonder where this sort of view comes from, that there needs to be a realistic expectation.
Where this view comes from? It sounds like you're portraying it as if I'm filled with negativity and I just want to Like, this is a common misconception that people have about black pill. When they see my channel, they hear the fact, oh, it's black pill, so this guy is just a no hope, give up, and everything's like spoiled sort of guy. But that's not at all what I'm.
One thing
about.
that
Like,
just
I'm very
made me think
optimistic
that
about my dating life.
One thing that made me think that is that you did say that a 3 out of 10 can't go to an 8 out of 10, and I just think telling that to somebody who considers themselves a 3 out of 10 is not an idealistic use of a channel. Like, why would it not be better to tell that guy if he focuses, he can do those things?
I think that's just being realistic. I think there's a difference between giving guys false hope, which can oftentimes set them up to fail, because telling a 3 out of 10, a literal 3 out of 10 that he can go to an 8. In fact, this image, I wish I had brought it up earlier in the debate. But
so what if someone had told Stevie Wonder, you can't play piano because you're blind? You can't play piano because you're blind, Stevie Wonder. Don't bother playing. What happens there?
I'm not actually too sure. I know I've heard of Stevie Wonder. I know he's some musician. I didn't know he was blind or anything like that. I'm not sure if he was or what happened.
He
with
was
him.
blind, and a lot of people did tell him that he couldn't play the piano, and he decided not to, and he became one of the biggest superstars and best musicians in the world. So why would you tell any 3 out of 10 that they can't be an 8 out of 10 when someone like Stevie Wonder has become a world-class musician when he can't even see?
Because looks is very different from other things in life. So I'm a little bit more optimistic when it comes to things like money. I think that, even if you're born poor and you're born at the bottom, you're born broke, you're raised in a council house in the UK, you can still make it to the top. Like, there's been plenty of examples of guys that have done that. I'm pretty sure Alan Sugar was brought up with no money. And I'm pretty sure, who was the other guy? Mike Ashley, the one who owns Sports Direct, he was brought up with no money. And now they've become very successful guys. But looks is very different. You can't overcome some genetic ceilings. Like, every single guy, when it comes to looks, has a ceiling.
Someone has put Stevie Wonder did get a lot of honeys, and that's true. Stevie Wonder got a lot of honeys, which is like, maybe that was a genetic ceiling for him, or for somebody who's disabled.
I apologise, I can't comment on this example because I'm not actually, I'm not hugely educated on who this guy Stevie Wonder is. I know his name, I know that he's some big musician, but I don't know what he looks like. I have no clue about what his dating life was like either. But what I want to have an example that we can both kind of relate to, I put up another image on my screen.
What about Tate?
Play the stream again.
Andrew Tate.
Sorry?
What about Andrew Tate? He wasn't a good-looking guy at all. When he had glasses and his face was kind of weird at one point. And I love Tate. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Tate, when he was ugly, was not a great-looking man.
Well, obviously he's got a lot of status, and he's very tall. I think he's 6'4", and he's got a lot of money going for him as well.
Yeah.
And he's not exactly ugly in the face. I'd say he's slightly above average in the face. Like, that's probably his weakest point. He's bald, his jawline's not the best, it's a little bit recessed, but obviously he's got a lot of status, money that makes up for it, and that's why he's in the position that he's in.
That was little Tate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That was little Tate.
For at some point in the world, he was the most famous person on earth. His Google searches was more searched than Donald Trump.
100%.
So, he literally was at the top of the top. Like, it goes without question that if you're a top 0.001% status guy, you're going to have a lot of women after you. But if you're a top 10% status guy, your status doesn't amount to anything in your dating life. It might as well be nothing. Like, having 1,000 Instagram followers is no different from having 500 or a couple hundred. Like, you're just a nobody still.
But
yes, once you...
In the real world, it doesn't really matter. Like, I went to uni and spent years watching guys who weren't that attractive get laid. Just girls wanted to meet decent guys and hang out with them. Like, there was guys that weren't good looking at all, didn't look after themselves, who I'd say were kind of bums, but girls still wanted to sleep with them. Girls still wanted to have a good time together because they were laugh.
I do doubt your... you say that these guys were unattractive and they were still able to get these women, but based on what we've talked about earlier in the discussion, I am starting to have doubts on how accurate you are in terms of rating male attractiveness.
I would say the same. I would say the same to you. I would say exactly the same to you. You don't rate men very well.
Well, because if you told, just to say earlier, like if you said that you used to be a 3 out of 10, it's clearly not the case. Like you were.
I did say I'd never rate
even
myself
when
a
you
3
were
out of 10. Just to re-clarify, I said I'd never rate myself a 3 out of 10.
It might have just been to, clickbait the thumbnail of the video or something like that. That is possible. But based on my experience of rating guys, I think I've rated several thousand guys on Fiverr, like my main service, which I give to guys. So like, I'm pretty sure I'm good at like rating guys' attractiveness.
Do you think it would help a guy if you rated him higher than he actually was, for his confidence, and that in turn would help his life?
It would help his confidence, but that confidence would soon translate into delusion. Like I think that having a realistic approach is the best thing that you can get in terms of a rating, because if you're a 5 out of 10 guy and you're told that you're a 9 out of 10, then you're going to start approaching the women's that are 8s, 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
Which is just going to completely backfire on you because you're approaching women that are way out of your league. Meanwhile, if you're a 5 and you're told you're a 5 and you know you're a 5, now you realise, oh, I'm probably best off like approaching the 6, 5s and 4s because they're around my level, and it's gonna. And then once you are able to succeed with those girls, you learn more about dating and what sort of attractiveness level you fall in. You can improve from there, and then you can work up your way up to the 6s and so on. If you know what I mean.
I think guys with balls, fortune favours the bold, and I've seen enough guys walking around with super hot women to know that it's not down to looks. That guys with charisma can get women, and you're kind of telling them, this is what I'm hearing, that these guys shouldn't even try with those hotter women. And I don't think that's true, because I don't think you've met enough nice, beautiful women. I've met nice, beautiful women that are happy to talk to a 4 or 5, that are looking for a guy that can make them laugh, that can take them places, that can show them a good life. They're not too bothered about the guy who's super handsome, but he's just some loser, like he plays video games.
I really don't think that's true. And this kind of, like, I predicted this a year ago in one of my videos that, when I'll bring up my example that I have on the screen in a second, but I'll just focus on the point that you're saying now. I predicted this a year ago in one of my videos that whenever people are trying to say, I know people who just have unreal charisma and confidence, and they approach the hot girls and they get them, whenever they, bring up these examples, it always starts off with, I know a guy. Like those are the first words. I know a guy. They're the first 4 words out of their mouth. But when it comes to the other things that we were discussing before, like my examples of like you need to be genetically good looking. Like there are well-known, well-renowned examples of these people being like successful with women in the public eye. Jeremy Meeks is a brilliant example. Like he's a clearly well above average looking, like top 1% looks guy who was a convict, and women were swooning over him. They actually released him from jail because women were going that crazy. Like he got bailed out. And he's a testament to the black pill about how genetic looks can be a huge success to you. As for the people that want to talk about going to the gym, they've got zits. Like if you looked at his before pictures, he was about a 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, and he was a world-renowned guy, and he picked up a lot of women from going to the gym. And as for status, there's guys like Dan Bilzerian, they built a lot of status and they have a successful dating life for that. But when it comes to charisma, confidence, game, whatever you want to call it, there is no examples, not one, unless you can name one, who is renowned and has been able to pick up loads of women and have the most unbelievable dating life just because of his confidence. As I say, it always starts with, I know a guy.
I'll start with you. I think your main thing is you are attractive enough to sleep with the hottest women on earth based on Pete Davidson standards. I wouldn't say you're any.
That's the nicest compliment I've ever received. Thank you very much for that.
That's no problem, and it was meant to be a problem.
If it was true,
it is true. I genuinely think you could sleep with the hottest women on earth because you're less good looking than Pete Davidson, and he's sleeping with Kim Kardashian, Ariana Grande. We'd all say they're pretty attractive women. The thing that makes the difference once you're at that level, and I'd say at your level, is what is your charisma and personality like? Are you a singer and piano player like Stevie Wonder? Are you somebody that has that personality that people want to be around? And that is what makes the difference. So I'd say looks really isn't that much of a big thing. And for yourself, I'd say stop thinking about it that way so much, because Once you become that guy with the charisma, with the business, I mean, you've got a big YouTube channel. There's no reason why you can't use that to see the women that you want to see. You don't have to put yourself in a box, I don't think.
This is a little bit ridiculous now. Like, okay, I have a average sized YouTube channel, but it's like still zero status. Like, if I'm okay, fair enough. If I become the next Mr. Beast and I hit 100 million subscribers sometime in the future,
why can't you do that?
Maybe I'll have a lot of status where I can approach the hottest women in the world. But based on my current status and my current looks, like, say if I saw one of the hottest women in the world at some sort of convention, photo shoot, whatever, there is absolutely nothing I could say or do to get her attention as a absolute nobody.
And that is exactly why you never will. That is exactly why you never will. Because if you believed it could happen, it could happen. You obviously believe that it can't happen, and it never will for you until you switch that mindset.
I don't believe it can happen now.
No, you don't believe it can happen, but that's your self-esteem. That's not the truth.
Like, have you ever heard of the analogy where they say you got two options? Like, if you're cutting down a tree, you can either sharpen your saw, or you can start cutting down the tree straight away with a blunt saw. Have you ever heard of that analogy before?
Just say that one more time. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
So if you're tasked with chopping down a tree, let's say it's going to take you 2-3 days to cut down.
Yep.
You've got a really blunt saw. You've got two options. You can either start hacking away at the tree with this blunt saw, or you can sharpen it.
It's an axe.
Hopefully,
I think it's an axe, a blunt axe. I think.
Or axe or saw. Yeah. It makes no difference.
Axe.
You get the idea. So, and you're telling me that if I were to go with the hottest women in the world, I just need to approach them, show up at one of their conventions or slide in their DMs on Instagram when I've got, less than 1,000 followers, and hopefully if I show all of the charisma and the best game in the world, then I'll be able to attract them. No, that is absolutely ridiculous. If I instead focus on building my status, gym, I'm not saying it will happen, but a few years into the future, if I acquire enough status, it's possible. I could be a top 1%.
That's what I'm saying.
Guy. And
I agree.
So I'm not going to approach them right now, but yes, if I reach that level, or let's say even I approach like top 10% status and wealth and looks, if I get to that level, that's when I'll approach the top 10% women. Like, you gotta, match your expectations.
What you're thinking in your head, Sam, is that you need something to give you that confidence. You need accolades, something to make you happy enough, confident enough to go and speak to those women. But it's literally a mindset shift, and you have control of your own state.
No,
you have control of your own state. Yes, you do.
Confidence is a product of competence.
I agree with that as well. I do agree with that as well. But I've gone past the switch. Anyone can turn it on. You just have to believe in yourself.
Because confidence without the goods to back it up is delusion. It's not real confidence. It's delusion.
It is delusion until it comes true. Until it becomes true, it's delusion. That's why they call so many great people delusional before they do anything. You have to be delusional, and then you put the action in. Then you make it happen. Then you prove everybody wrong. And I think having an idea that you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that because you're a 3 out of 10 or whatever, it's just crazy. Like, you should go and get the life that you want, and there's nothing holding you back. Looks, anything otherwise. Like, there's nothing holding men back.
This sounds like blind optimism. Like, it really is. It does sound like.
And yours sounds like blind pessimism.
No. I think I'm being as realistic as possible.
But does it serve you?
Currently. If you've said that I'm an above average looking guy, let's say that I'm a top 30% guy at the moment, or top 40% guy, I should be approaching at my current, baseline, women who are also in the top 30%, top 40%. That's how I've been living my dating life at the moment. It's worked out very successful for me. I've been able to get women consistently that are on my level, that looks matched to me. Yeah. If I tried approaching the hottest women in the world, it would backfire immediately. I would come off as delusional. The rate of return would come crashing down, because they would sense that I'm, not on their level. I'm not in their league. Likewise, if I was to be blindly pessimistic, that would be for me to drop my standards. Like, let's say I'm going for a dry spell, I drop my standards all of the way down to the women at the bottom, women who are extremely overweight, women who, I know that I'm better than. And if I went to that way, that would be blind optimism. But my expectations are in line with the women that I'm willing to approach and the path that I'm on in life as a whole. So I'm not being blindly pessimistic. I'm being very realistic, and I think that you're being blindly optimistic.
If I was being blindly optimistic, then I would tell people not to go and improve themselves, that like any guy can just go and get a girl. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should improve yourself along the way, but the idea in your head should be there. You should have the idea that you can reach the top. You can get there, and thinking that there's a cap for you, that there's a ceiling on your success or anything in your life as a man is ridiculous, because there's not. There's 1,000 different subjects that can prove it, that have gone from rock bottom, people with no arms and legs that have become famous, that have beautiful wife and children.
Okay, let me make myself clear. For some things there isn't a ceiling, or there's at least less of a ceiling. For other things there is a ceiling on how high you can climb. Like the most obvious example is something like height. Like every single person has a ceiling for that, and most of those ceilings are realised by the time they're 20 years old.
Yeah,
like,
but why does that matter?
For looks, why would looks? If you can accept that, if you can say yeah to that, why would looks be any different? If somebody's got certain facial features, then why would they be able to reach top 1% for looks?
Because looks,
when their face is inhibiting themselves from doing so.
Because I don't think looks comes down to entirely like a facial-based thing or a body-based thing. As we said with Pete Davidson, it's a charisma thing, like having more money, having more status.
No, looks encompasses 3 things. No, charisma has nothing to do with looks.
It absolutely
looks
does.
It's comprised of 3 things.
It's
height, face, and body. Like nothing else is to do with your looks. Like charisma and confidence, they're all different things.
You can be a handsome guy who looks ugly based on the way you use your face, based on whether you go around like that all the time, compared to being open, charismatic.
No, it sounded. I'm going to be honest. It sounded like you kind of just plucked that one out of thin air. Like that was the first time you ever thought about that, and you just kind of brought it up out of nowhere. Like that's not true.
Let me ask you something, because this is the opposite side of the coin. This comes from women's side. Have you ever been with a girl that you thought was really hot, and then you actually got to know her a little bit, and you wanted to bang her at first, but then she disgusted you, but just because of how she was, personality-wise, charisma-wise, totally turned you off, like a 8 or 9 out of 10 that you wanted to bang and then she put you off?
No, I haven't, because I've not tried to approach any 9s or 10s. I don't think it's worth it. Actually, no, let me change my mind on that. No, I have tried approaching a couple of times, and I was completely blown out of the water. This is when I was blue pilled. This is when I thought, oh, I'm just going to approach the hottest girl that I see, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if I think this girl is hot, then nobody else does, and I'm going to be able to get her. But no, I quickly realised that is a stupid way to think. You're better off going for women that are in and around your level. That is still possible in today's current dating market.
How many girls did you approach that way? Like 8 or 9? So was it just a couple and you got blown out the water kind of thing?
Yeah, like less than, it's number smaller than what I could count on my hand.
Yeah, so you basically are judging your whole worldview off of what's happened with 1 or 2 girls that were 8 or 9s out of 10s, and now you have a low self-esteem issue from what I can see. It's
that's
what you just said.
No.
That's true.
No, as in it was a learning experience for me. I didn't have any low self-esteem issues from that. I wasn't butthurt for weeks and then being like, oh, I can't believe it. This girl that I've had a crush on for ages has rejected me.
No. I don't mean like that. I mean like right now, because you're playing at a different level now. You're not approaching those girls anymore. So you've obviously got a feeling in your mind that you are not worthy of speaking to those girls. I don't think it's true, because I've approached 8s and 9s and 10s. I've been blown out the water 100 times. But then I've also had times when I've gone home with the 9 or the 10 from the club. And I've had times when I've then gone on to have relationships with girls like these. So I don't think it's true. I just don't think you give it enough of a try. Like, not all girls are the same. Like, they're not all bitches, trust me. Like, I've met 9s and 10s that are the sweetest girls ever. They really don't mind so much, like, what a guy looks like, because nobody ever approaches them. When you have the confidence to go speak to these women, they're a little bit taken aback. And obviously some of them aren't. Some of them will blow you out of the water. But that's a risk you've got to be willing to take. Why does that matter if your self-esteem is sky high and you know you're the man? That's how I choose to believe. That's how I choose to live.
You're talking about, these women that are 8s, 9s and 10s, but I don't think you've realised that the vast majority of viewers on my channel, they're struggling with just the average women. Like they can't even get any dating success from the women that are like on their looks level, or at least should be on their looks level.
I'm just talking to you right now, because it hurts me that you feel this way about yourself. That's who I'm talking to, not your viewers, because I personally think you would be holding yourself back in terms of what you've got going for you looks-wise to not be approaching those girls. if that's what you care about, if you care about 8, 9s and 10s, I mean, you don't have to care about that. It's really not that important. Fulfillment comes from other things in your life, like building business or building your body or the journey, basically. It's not all about women anyway, but I do feel like you'd be holding yourself back, so I'm talking to you directly.
You know how big the gap is between like men and women who are like average in the dating market? Like at the current, like in 2022, do you know how big the gap is between average guys and average women?
What do you mean by that in terms of like, what are you sort of talking about?
Well, as in, how big the difference is in terms of ease of dating life, like how easy an average woman has it compared to how hard an average man has it.
I just don't believe in thinking that men have it hard. Like, I believe your hardships are what make you a man. So the harder life is for you, if you're born an ugly guy, good. It's going to make you into a much better man than the guy that's born handsome and rich, who then ends up unfulfilled because he had no journey. So for me, it's a very little consequence. It's like, yeah, so what? It's tough. It's meant to be tough. So you've got to, that's what my channel's based at. It's like, it is tough out there. This is how you improve, and you can have anything you want if you try for it. That's how I've always felt as a guy.
Yeah, the main problem I'm getting with like the things that you're talking about, yes, like you strike a lot of points when it comes to belief, optimism, ambition, working hard, work ethic, striving for your dreams. Like, you score a lot of points in all of those departments. But I think you're mainly like falling at the barrier of you're conflating ambition with delusion. Like, it's a funny one because like as I've said, like, I'm not being blindly pessimistic. I think that I'm coming from as realistic of a like standpoint as possible. Like, I've had experience in the dating market myself. I've looked at all of the data. I've read countless studies saying this is like what dating is like at the moment. Like, I'm sure in fact, I don't even need to say all of those things. You can do a quick YouTube search on like Tinder experiments. I had one on my own channel. As in, if you look at an average woman, the results she gets on Tinder compared to an average man, you just see the night and day difference. That, in fact, I've even seen one which was a below average looks woman, a woman who was, we probably rate her about 3 or 4 out of 10 in looks, and she was getting blown up with matches in the first day. Like, I think she got 200 or something like that. It might even be more than that. Meanwhile, a guy who I had on my channel, who was an above average looks guy, he was like 6'4". He was, slightly above average in the face. He had decent status, stable job, everything like that. He got, what is it?
Tinder is a marketplace. Tinder is a marketplace that plays exactly to your beliefs, basically. I don't choose to use those apps because I find it much better to use your charisma and personality to approach a girl. But I wouldn't bother going in with the rest of the bunch in the pond, flipping through something where a girl can't actually see if she likes you. She only knows if she likes you when she sees how you act, when she sees what you're like in the flesh. Like, a Tinder date might get you one swipe, might get you on a date with that girl, but when you turn up all handsome but you're not the guy she wants you to be, or you're not funny, you don't make her laugh, you're not great on a date, you're rude, you're just out the door again. It's like, it's kind of no difference, really.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more on the same page as you here. Like, I think that online dating is probably one of the worst things that guys, especially average guys, can do. In fact, I have a video coming up in future that if you're a guy, pretty much no matter what position you're in, you should not use online dating. Even if you're a Chad, even if you're a full-on Chad, like, I wouldn't even waste your time with it, because the thing with, like, this is the mindset I believe all guys should have, and this applies not to just dating, but as in, it's not just about looking for things to do that are positive ROI. It's looking at all of the things that are positive ROI and then selecting the best ones. So yes, having online dating in your life as a Chad, that might be able to get you, say, one woman a week, like either a date or a casual encounter, whatever you define. But say if you could do cold approach as that same Chad, you might like end up with 3 per week, which is a lot higher return on investment. So, like, no matter what position you're in life, if you're a Chad, sub 5 or normie, don't even waste your time with online dating. There's a million better alternatives, and especially if you're a normie, like, you should be focusing on trying to increase your SMV, sharpen the saw first, and then like still you don't want to be bothering cold approach, but some online approach, but you want to be sticking to cold or warm approach. They're going to give you highest return on investment.
I got you. I think we kind of agree on that one. Just one second, Sam. If you want to, I just need the toilet. Do you mind if I cut to a break stream and then we'll do a last few points and then we'll round things up for these guys?
Yeah. That's completely
Dope.
fine. I can read some of these super chats that I've been
have a look at them.
collecting.
And I've got on mine, I think I've got a Be Right Back screen, so get ready for another gorilla, you lads. Here you go.
I've got a image that I wanted to show you when you get back, so once you get back we'll jump straight into that.
No problem.
Because I didn't get an opportunity earlier on in the stream.
Am I muted now?
But I can still listen to you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, show me that picture after I come back, and James, just put me on mute.
Okay, listen, okay. For anyone watching my stream at the moment...
Am I muted? I'm back online.
Okay, awesome.
Here we go.
Yeah, you missed the best part. The fire alarm just went off in my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you got a fire in there?
I'm not sure why.
You haven't been.
Sorry?
You haven't been lighting fires in there, have you?
No, I haven't. No, it must be some of the other people.
You haven't been
Anyway.
burning any waffles in there, have you?
No, unfortunately I didn't.
Why are you called Wheat Waffles?
I don't know. That's just the name that I came up with. If I started my channel again, I'd probably call it something else. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get back straight into it. If you bring up the stream again.
Okay, let me bring this up.
On your phone, and then you'll be able to see the image that's on my screen.
Let's have a look. So let me just...
I love this photo. This might be my favourite photo of all time.
Is it
in the black community? This is hilarious. This photo, I love it. Can you see it?
Share your screen with me on Discord, and then everyone will be able to see it on screen.
Oh yeah.
Have we got that now, James? Is the technology working? Hello?
Can you see it?
I can see it here. It's David Lade? There we go, we're in, yeah. I'm guessing all our guys can see that. Guys, just put in the chat if you can see the current picture that Mr. Waffles has kindly put up for us.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you can see what's on screen now.
Yes, I can see. I think it looks like.
Yeah,
is it
okay,
David
so-
Lade or?
So this is why it's one of my favourite. It's not anyone famous. No, it's just
Yeah.
two guys on TikTok.
Okay.
This is why it's my favourite photo, because on these guys, like there's two guys, you know, both of them are gym mats, clearly. Like they're both around 10% body fat. They both got significant muscle mass. You know, they both have like 8 out of 10 physiques. However, the guy on the left.
Let me just show my guys. They're saying they can't see. That's the picture.
Okay.
For anyone who
they'll be able
can't.
to see now because they're looking at your thing. Yeah, so the guy on the left, he's noticeably a lot shorter than the guy on the right. I don't know their exact heights, they didn't say in the video, but the guy on the left, I'm guessing he's about 5'6". And meanwhile, the guy on the right is probably about 6'2" or 6'1", 6'3" maybe. And the difference there is staggering in itself, just the height difference. And that alone would be enough to, you know, mean women would like clearly notice the guy on the right is a lot more attractive.
Yeah, I think we
then
all
when you
know
look at the
more
faces as well.
attractive and taller guys get more girls. Like we all know that. That's
No, but it's
pretty
a night
basic.
and day difference. That's what I'm saying. Is in fact, I cited this. You've heard of the 80-20 rule, right? Haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. Paleto's
Yeah.
law, I think it is.
Yeah. The top 20% of guys get 80% of the girls.
Yeah.
And in this situation, the guy on the right, he wouldn't get 80%. He would get 100%. Like if there was women swiping on both of these two profiles and they had to pick either one, I would estimate 100 out of 100 would pick the guy on the right. You might get one that would pick the one on the left who's like trolling, or maybe two that are trolling.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm trying to showcase, is in both of these men, you know, they've optimized their, you know, behavioral,
But
you know, things that they can change about their appearance.
But why is that? Why is that really worth showcasing? That's what I'm trying to get down to. Is like, why do you think that's worth showing guys that might look like the guy who's not as attractive? Like, why would it be worth showing him he's not as attractive? Like, why would you want to show someone that?
Is the guy on the left and
In the red.
would you say that he's fully looks maxed? Or,
The guy on the left.
Basically fully looks maxed.
No,
the guy
I'd
on the
say
left in the red trousers.
no, definitely not yet, because I don't think he's gone through puberty all the way. I think he's quite a young guy, so he's got a lot of growing to do. And I don't think a guy should really judge his looks till he hits about 25, and then you can start
With
to have
that
a look.
body, how can you say he's not gone through puberty yet with that physique?
That guy is about 16 years old.
I don't think he's 16 years old.
Is he
I've not met any
25?
guys.
Is he 25? Because I'm not
He's
saying
not
those
25.
those boys aren't 25, are they?
Okay, I'll rephrase the question. Has he done like at least 80 to 90% of what he can do in terms of looks maxing?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
he
would
hasn't
say
got
yes.
a tan
Like,
for starters. He's got no tan, and everyone knows you look at least 4 or 5 times
not
better
everyone
with a
can
tan.
Get a tan.
That's what a lot of people
Doesn't
told
look
me,
like he
but
can.
then power of belief, my skin started to tan when I come to Thailand. So I was very, very pale for a long time. Never got a tan, started to come. Maybe I don't even have a tan now, but I think at least I've got some colour. I'm not as white as maybe that guy is.
Okay, I'll go one more route. Can the guy on the left ever reach the same attractiveness on the guy on the right? Can he ever get the same appeal from women? As the guy on the
Purely
right?
looks based. Purely looks based. I don't think he's ever going to be as tall or as handsome as that other guy, but I don't really think that matters because he could totally beat him in his own game, like in a load of other ways, which is why I don't think looks are the most important thing.
It's possible. Like, of course, if he founded Facebook, like Mark
Zuckerberg, that's what I'm saying.
It is possible, like that he would, end up having higher overall SMV than the guy on the right. But this is like dream scenario. This is literally talking about.
That's what I'm all about.
1% of 1%, as in.
That's what I'm all about because
these two guys.
Not everyone can do it, but anyone can do it. That's what one thing I say. Not everyone, because that would be impossible, but anyone, if they really try hard enough, can do it. That's what I'm saying. I just don't believe in putting yourself in as not being that guy. Why would you not think you're that guy? I've always felt I'm that guy. I'm just surprised to hear you don't think that about yourself. Why would you not think you're the man? There's no better way to think about yourself.
Well, because it's being realistic. As in, the guy on the left could try and start up some company, some tech company, whatever, to become a millionaire or a billionaire.
Yeah.
But for every single person that tries that, a lot of them are going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough, they can say that they've tried at the end of it, but it's only going to work out for that 1% of 1% of Mark Zuckerbergs who did end up making it in the end.
And for
these two guys,
all I'm saying is, it's that 1% of 1% that did try, that extra bit, that believed in themselves, that end up being these people. Don't think for a second that you can't be these people. We are the same. We are all human beings. You have an opportunity to become that man if you want to be. So that's why I don't believe in what you're saying, because it's how people believe in themselves. That's why people have done great things. So I don't believe in realism. I don't think it's a good thing to say to other people. I think people should be optimistic for their future, because you can make a great life for yourself, and I don't want anyone believing that they can't, no matter what their circumstances are. I just don't think it serves you.
As I was reading the comments on some of the comments of my stream as you went for the bathroom break, they were saying just like it was like a meme, like it's often said in like my community, is like just be the top 1% of status and money, bro. Just be like the founder of Facebook, bro. Like, just be who was that other guy that you mentioned earlier? I can't remember his name, but just be that guy, bro. As in, just be at the top of the world.
Yeah, and you guys obviously just think that you can't, or whoever that is commenting just thinks that they can't, and therefore they never will be. But some people do these things.
I don't think that they can't, but most of them who even try won't get there. Like,
so nobody should try.
Bias.
So nobody should try.
It's called
you should just settle.
You should try it. You should try it, but it's nothing guaranteed. It's about having realistic expectations. Like, don't go blindly into thinking, oh, I'm going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg because I have some unbelievable idea to start some social media company.
Somebody's got to do it, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Very,
Somebody's
very
got to do
guys.
it. Somebody does these things, and they're just like you and me. But somebody gets the chance. And the way I'm speaking is because I could have gone a lot of different routes with my actual lifestyle and my personality, and I currently live my dream life when it could have been very, very different, and I've fought my way there through belief and being told that at times I was delusional. So for me, it holds heavy because it's something that I've done myself. So I've gone from someone that worked a call centre 9 to 5, was drinking every day, that was very unhappy with his life, to now being on a platform where I can try and help other young men, which was a dream of mine, and living and earning more money than I've ever earned. Like, a lot of people said to me that would never be possible. A lot of people said to focus on smaller things, to just focus on working my way up in that company, because I wasn't that guy who could go on YouTube and start an online business. People told me to stay in the UK because what's going to happen out in Thailand? Oh, you can't get visas over there. I just believe in optimism because it served me so well, because I am now happy, because I now live a life that I love to live, because I am confident in myself. And there was a time when I wasn't, when my life wasn't good, and it was optimism and it was blind faith in myself and my ability to read and continue to learn things that took me to a level that I'm happy with. And I'm aiming a lot higher. I'm aiming so high that a lot of people would call me delusional now. I'll tell you on the stream right now, I'll be up there with the KSIs, the Logan Pauls of the world. I'll be one of the most famous men in the world inside of 5 years. I'll say that to you right now. A lot of people say that's delusional. now watch me do it?
Well, you might actually be surprised with what I'm going to say here, and I think a lot of my audience will be surprised with me saying this, but I think we've actually got slightly more similar sort of mindsets than, you know, it's been made out to be in the last like 45 minutes of talking, whatever. But I think where we differ slightly is that, like, I do agree with you. You should strive for the best. Like, everyone should strive for the best, but at the same time prepare for the worst. You shouldn't just be blindly thinking, oh, I'm going to make it. Everyone's going to make it, bro. Like, you know, if I put in this amount of effort, then, you know, I'm going to eventually make it into the top. No, yes, you should do that. You should try to, you know, be the best. Like, you know, reach all your goals in dating, in money, in success. You know, whatever you name it. Like, you should always try to do the best you can do to reach the top of your game in those departments.
Yeah.
But you should at the same time prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
So, like, my advice to either of these two guys, well, particularly the guy on the left, is yes, he should try to, you know, he's already got a top 5% physique. He's already got that, so he's ticked that box. But as for what else can he do, yeah, he should start maxing out his money. He should start maxing out his status, career maybe, and climb the ranks in there. And then, you know, he shouldn't expect that he's going to make that at some point in the future, but he should try. He should try to tick those boxes, but he should prepare for what happens if that doesn't happen. If he doesn't make it, which, as I've said earlier, most people won't become the next Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
If that's the case scenario, which in most cases it will be the scenario that plays out, then what's he going to do in that situation?
Well, the thing is about life is you don't need to be a Zuckerberg, and you don't need to be the best guy around or the super famous guy. Like, that's something that I'm interested in. I've always had super high ambitions, but to be a genuinely like a happy guy, this guy might just need to go and get a job that earns him a decent amount, or have a small online business where he's got some freedom, and then he finds himself a decent girl that he's happy with, that he finds attractive, that has the qualities of a woman that he wants, and then bang, he's happy and he has a family. Like, that's not too hard for him to achieve, I don't think.
Yeah, well, if the scenario does play out where he, you know, does as anticipated, just is like a normal guy, has a stable income, like the middle 99%, then I think that he should just try to get an average woman, or, you know, I think that's even reaching a little bit, because, like, he really doesn't look.
You could see him with a,
like,
you
he's
could
potentially
potentially
about a 4 SMV at
like,
the moment. So
the other
you should
thing
just
is,
try
like,
and get someone who's on his level.
Sam, you don't, like, this one's a little bit different because obviously I live in Thailand, but you do see, and this is purely a money thing most of the time, you see old guys with super hot girls, 8, 9, 10, super old, wrinkly guys you wouldn't want to be with. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting, but that's not a looks thing, certainly not. It's a money thing. So if he ends up with a lot of money, there's no reason why he couldn't go somewhere in the world and have an 8, 9, 10 girlfriend that probably genuinely wants to look after him and care for him and loves him because he's such a good provider. I think,
you know, you wouldn't actually believe me if I told you this, but you're actually kind of, well, based on the last thing that you just said there, you're actually kind of creeping into the black pill, and you're reaching into black pill solutions. It's actually something that's been well renowned in like the black pill community. This idea of, it's called C-maxing, where if you find dating extremely hard in the West, then you move over to places like Thailand, the Philippines, Myanmar, you know, places like that. Because the dating market is a lot easier there. It's a lot more balanced for average guys, or below average guys.
A lot more women in Thailand. Things are cheaper. You got the sunshine. It's a way better quality of life. People are friendlier. Like, I would say, find yourself a way to make 2-3 grand on an online business and get your ass out here, because it's a better way of living. Like, I believe in changing your situation if you can. Like, there's no need to bum around the UK being depressed, thinking you're a 3 out of 10 when you can come to Thailand and have a great life.
I guess we'll
I guess we agree on that. I think we agree on it.
Anyway, man, do you have any more points that you wanted to bring up?
Let me just see what else I've got written down, because there's a few things I just wanted to go to. What's sort of the like aim of your channel now moving forwards? Like, what do you give guys? Like, where does the positivity come from for a guy watching your channel? Why should he watch you, Wheat Waffles, compared to me, or should he watch us kind of both?
Did you ask me this question earlier, or something similar to this?
I asked you why you originally made the channel, but I'd like to know now.
It's similar, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what is the aim with it now?
Honest, if you're a young guy, you know, you have like you've given like a slight false dichotomy there. Actually, no, you didn't, because you did say, or should they watch both? But if you ask, should they watch either mine or yours, I don't think that's the case. Obviously, they can and have the option to watch both, and I think they actually should watch both. Like, I think we both bring unique things to the table. I think I give a very realistic outlook for guys about what the current dating market is like. And I offer some solutions as well. And obviously you bring a lot of advice to the table. Like, I've watched your videos on what you should do on a first date, things like that. I think there's, some decent advice for guys that are already in the dating game there. And you offer a lot of other advice in terms of starting businesses and things like that. So if a guy is young, they should probably watch both of our channels. I think we're definitely gonna, bring them out better off than if they never watched our content to begin with. And hopefully they'll be able to progress further in their life. Do you agree with that? Do you think that if somebody watches my content, well, I'm not sure how much of my content you've watched, but
I've watched a bit that just for me it seemed to make a big deal out of things I didn't feel were as important, which brings me back to the first point where I don't think looks are everything. Like the whole fact that there's a way of calling it like Chad's normies and this kind of like Lord of the Rings speak is kind of nuts to me when I've lived a life that was like totally like not really thinking about that sort of stuff. To bring such a huge example to it and kind of let people know that looks is number one. That's the main thing for me that would make me not want to watch your channel. I'd be like, why would I listen to a guy that tells me looks is the main thing if my looks aren't good? Like, it kind of puts someone in a bit of a defeatist mindset, I think, if they do think that their looks is everything and their looks aren't good. Like, I would prefer to maybe watch a channel who put things down to like confidence and charisma. That would be my main thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I would say that it's good to know your limitations and good to know that there are genetic things that are potentially holding you back, and then you can focus on the things that you can change. I forgot what that phrase is. I won't be able to remember it, so I'm not even going to attempt to try and bring it up. But it was essentially saying that you should accept the things that you can't change, try to come to terms with them, but then focus and try to make amends for the things that you can change, and then try to improve those. I'm not sure if I've said that correctly.
I think I get what you're saying. Like, if you can't change something, then there's no need to worry about it and focus on the things that you can change. I think that's a good idea. What I'd like to say to your guys, your followers, is that nothing holds you back more than yourself. And success is purely determined by what you do and the effort you put in, not the hand that you're dealt. And there's a million different ways that you could look at that for people that have risen from being an absolute nobody to being the top of the game. So don't think that you're at a disadvantage, even if genetically and in your facial structure and the way that you look, maybe you are at a disadvantage, but that's not a bad thing. So don't let it hold you back. Don't let it stop you from going for the things that you want, because I think that journey is what makes you a man, and it's that courage that makes a man and makes them happy in the end. Even if you don't end up reaching the top, it's who you become on that journey. So just don't subscribe yourself to something that doesn't make you happy if you feel you could go for something better. Always reach for it. That would be my final word.
Hey, thanks for the advice to my audience. Hopefully they take something positive from it. Anyway, it's been really good getting you on the stream today, man. I'm glad that you've reached out to me and Hamza, got us connected up. I think it's been a really good stream. I think there's been a lot of good back and forth. Thanks for coming on.
Mate, I'd agree. It was really fun. It's good to have a conversation with someone where you don't agree. I think it's very common for people in the same space as me, like the guys that I've approached previously, to just agree with each other. So I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I think it's been a great conversation, and I hope you have increased your own self-confidence and you start walking a little bit taller, because I genuinely think you've got a talent with your YouTube and what you're doing, and your ability to debate and your looks as well. And I think you could be a great guy if whatever you want, you could really go and get. So just boost that.
Yeah, that is my long-term plan.
Good man.
I'm mainly just focusing on building my wealth and status at the moment. Well, mainly my wealth, and then in a few years' time, I'm gonna be focusing on improving my looks to as much of a degree as possible. This is all sharpening the saw at the moment, but then when I'm in my mid-20s or so, hopefully I want to start focusing more on cashing in on the SMV, cashing in the chips.
I just think one thing me and First Man mentioned was our periods of growth and success was after we stopped worrying about achieving the things to give you confidence and just started deciding to be happy with our current situation. So I would just, whatever you're thinking there needs to be a bit of time for you to get to, just start gunning for it now would be my main thing, because I don't think too much actually changes. I think definitely build those things up, but the mindset, I reckon you can have it now if you just start thinking a little bit brighter.
Yeah. What part of UK are you from originally? This is a random question.
I'm from Peterborough originally.
Peterborough?
Yeah.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought you was South Coast.
I lived in Bournemouth for 4 years when I went to uni. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I was on the South Coast then, but yeah, originally from Peterborough. What about yourself?
Essex, South East. Anyway, we should probably wrap up the stream because this is like just personal talk.
We can leave this for another phone call, Mr. Waffles.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone, guys. We'll
Yeah,
see you in the next
it's been
one.
awesome. Guys, keep going out there and getting it. God bless.
Right, I've ended the stream on my end. I'm not sure if you're still going.
Let me end it on mine. James, any idea how to get this off? Trying to turn the live stream off. There's something up with the live stream, James. Come and figure this out.
Right, okay. Well, have you finished the call?
No, me and Sam probably keep talking.
Yeah.
I'm guessing,
okay.
yeah, we'll have a chat.